Hey everybody, Rob Vino here from Wager Talk with a big game breakdown of the Orange Bowl, Georgia and Florida State, a game with two very disappointed teams on the day of the announcement of the college football playoff final four. Neither was included for Georgia. Heartbreak after a 27-game win streak and then a 3-point loss on a neutral cost them not only the number one ranking in the land and in the college football playoff, but it cost them 2, 3, and 4 as well, to the point where they dropped out to play this game against Florida State. We all know the Florida State story. The big deal here is the potential losses and I guess now, the verified personnel losses for both of these teams in this game, which now amounts to a huge advantage for Georgia. Georgia just arrived in Miami a couple of days ago to get ready to practice here for this bowl game. At that time, when they deplaned, they didn't have a single player opting out of this ball game. Carson Beck started it all by announcing he would come back and play, and everybody else has followed suit. So far, we do speak a few days before this game is going to be played, but as of right now, not a single player opting out for Georgia. FSU, completely different story at this point. Every single offensive skill position starter out of this game. The wide receiving tandem that carried them this year as far as the passing game is concerned. Johnny Wilson and Keon Coleman both opted out. Trey Benson, star running back, opted out. Even the number 2 quarterback, Tate Rodemaker, is now opted out, along with tight end Jaheim Bell. All backups or third teamers in the case of the quarterback here for Florida State. Not such a great situation. Even on defense, they lose NFL first round draft choice edge rusher Jared Verse for this game, and another defensive lineman and Fabian Lovett. So a couple of guys across the front that are key to this team, both gone. The mindsets for both teams here. I mean, Florida State, you still hear rumblings about them being angry with the college football playoff committee. I don't know how that helps with focus on this game, but there's still some anger there. The Georgia's mindset, I think they're just more angry at themselves for letting another potential national championship slip away in that loss to Alabama. Motivation here, I compare this game that's going to be played from the Georgia perspective to what happened last year with Alabama and Kansas State. Quarterback Bryce Young in that game, it was up in the air whether or not he was going to play. Bryce Young decided to play. A whole host of other key component starters to that Alabama team decided they would play as well. They walked into that stadium motivated, got behind K State, and in that case, Kansas State was a fully loaded and motivated team, unlike what Florida State's going to be. K State got ahead 10-0. Alabama ran off 35 straight, end up winning the game, going away 45-20. To me, that scenario is real comparable to what's taking place here with Georgia. I think Florida State, obviously, they'll be motivated. Their motivation is just different. It's a lot of guys getting a chance, an opportunity here that will be motivated to have a strong showing. They may be fired up, but with Georgia being motivated as well, motivated enough to return and play in this game, Florida State figures to be a little bit overmatched, a little bit outclassed. I think in a very unconventional way, Florida State's lack of offensive starters with all the backups playing here, at least at the skills and potentially a couple of linemen. I think that their offense against the Georgia defense probably leads to Georgia scoring points, whether it be through turnovers that lead to short fields and points, or whether it be three and outs, a host of three and outs that lead to Florida State's defensive unit wearing out during this game. Have to believe that Georgia's going to benefit here from a Florida State offense versus Georgia defense standpoint. The Georgia offense against Florida State's defense, I really don't have to talk about. With Carson Beck coming back, I think they'll be just fine. Third stringer, Brock Glenn, the quarterback for Florida State, was no great shakes against Louisville, so there's no reason to think, even with 15 extra practices, that he'll be great against this Georgia defense. Um, there's a lot of ways to play this one. Myself, I choose at this point in time to play first half, Georgia -8 in the first half. Like I say, Alabama last year even got down 10-0 and wound up leading at half 28-10. I don't think Georgia's going to get down 10-0 here. I think they'll be ahead early and often. So we're going to play this one from a first half perspective and play Georgia -8 first half in the Orange Bowl.